let's go to some names that already walked the stage and talk about their fantasy football prospects for the upcoming year. Ashton Jeanty, we got to start with him. Went to number 6 of the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, generational running back, I have described him. I saw a couple of projections today, a couple of guys I trust. Going to Mike Clay first at ESPN. This guy projected for 236 carries, 1,087 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, 56 receptions, 430 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns, but only in 14 games. Mike always bakes that into his forecast. Jeff Ratcliffe initially had him for a little bit lower than that even, 1,026 rush yards, 9 touchdowns, 356 receiving yards on 48 catches, and a pair of receiving touchdowns. But he updated his prognostication earlier today, is now got him for over 1,100 rushing yards. You're picking in the back half of round 1. Yeah. He right now is RB6 in average drafts, right around pick number 15, which I think is way too low. I'll just let the cat out of the bag there. But you're in the back half of round 1 in a 12-team draft. Are you pulling the trigger on Jeanty? You know where my opinion is. Hell yes, I am.
And me too, man, because they use a top 6 pick, meaning already you have to pay this guy. So the pressure right now is on Ashton Jeanty. He has to go out there, Brad, and perform as a top 5 running back in the league to justify them taking him here top 10, right? Even when Bijan was taken and when Jahmyr Gibbs was taken, everybody's like, oh, that's a reach. Nobody wants to see Saquon Barkley. Nobody wants to see these running backs go as top 10, top 15 picks. So he's going to have to ball out. We've talked enough about the numbers, the broken tackles, his receiving grade. There's really no knock on this kid. He's built like a submarine, and, I don't really know what the concern would be, because now all of a sudden you bring over Geno Smith, and you have a pretty fun offense there. You have Brock Bowers. I think the touches are going to be there, especially for the first 3 to 4 years with Pete Carroll. Like, Pete Carroll didn't go to Vegas to rebuild for 2 to 3 years. I don't know that he's got 2 to 3 years in Vegas there, so they're going to run him into the ground. So I'm all about Ashton Jeanty, man. I think there's a chance he's a top 5 back this year. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a top 3 back this year, or maybe even the best running back. It's tough because Saquon's
could be
still
number
alive,
1,
but he's going to be a stud, man. And they're going to feed him the rock. Yeah, for sure.
I think at a minimum, you're going to be looking at 275 total rush attempts, assuming he plays a full slate of games, all 17. And I'm probably going to be selling him short in that area. I think it's going to be like maybe 340, 330 total touches, because he is an effective and reliable pass catcher on the backfield. I think at a minimum, you're looking at 40 receptions. So in PPR leagues, it's going to be even more valuable. Extend your arm. If you snap tendons, fight through the pain, like Ryan Horvat already has and is currently doing with his arm in a sling, and get Ashton Jeanty on your fantasy team. You're not going to regret it. I love investing in very, very talented running backs with ultra fresh legs, and he certainly has that at his youthful age, and given his overall build, he's a faster and better version of Maurice Jones-Drew, and he was pretty damn good at his peak, going back to his Jacksonville Jaguars days. All right, let's move on to another player, Travis Hunter. I read a multitude of reports today from various insiders, people that I trust, that they don't necessarily have inside information on exactly how Jacksonville is going to utilize him, because I don't think the Jags fully know yet. But the belief is he's going to see a ton of snaps at wide receiver. Now, it could be in the slot, could be outside working in the X position. We don't really know. It could be in both areas, because he has that multidimensionality. He may only see around 25, 30% of the defensive snaps working as a DB. I saw one market today that 700 or more receiving yards for Travis Hunter is at minus money at minus 110. If I'm going to set the line at 699 and a half receiving yards for Hunter in year 1, what say you, over or under?
I'm going to say over. I think he's going to be the yak god, because that's what I keep going back and forth on. How are they going to use him? And everybody keeps saying defense, man. I think primarily he's going to play offense, and then he's going to play man defense. He's going to play third downs at defensive back. But you have Brown there. You have Brian Thomas. I actually think this might affect Brian Thomas a little bit in fantasy, just because I thought he was going to be a double-digit target guy, and he probably still is, but Travis Hunter is going to steal away some of those targets. I think really where they'll utilize him, Brad, is going to be in that screen game. And also, they have Brenton Strange, who we talked about enough last night. He's only 24, 25 years old. Had a pretty solid season. So I like their weapons, and I like Hunter, especially in the screen game, like I said. So I can see him, having 850 to 900 receiving yards. I'm pretty high on Travis Hunter. He's my third favorite player, probably my second favorite player in this draft. He's going to be an absolute stud, though. So I've talked myself into him, like in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, Mike Clay is kind of projected for, listen to this, 110 targets, 73 catches, 880 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's
Yeah.
kind of sexy. And
Yeah.
again, his ADP, well, it was a wide receiver 62. I think he's going to be probably in the wide receiver 40 to 50 range. When it's all said and done, even if he's in that range, I think he's worth the investment because the guy has a sky high ceiling. And you're right, he's going to be at king because of the multi-dimensionality. He's got the shimmy, the shake, and the power.
Yeah.
They're going to find creative ways, Liam Cohen will, to maximize his services as a receiver. So I'm going to be fully invested in him, assuming he stays outside the wide receiver top 40 class. Let's go to Colston Loveland of my Chicago Bears. Clay's got a projected for 81 targets, 54 catches, 599 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jeff Ratcliffe, another really good friend of mine at FTN, 50 catches, 552 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So similar vicinity there. Plus radius, route running, exceptional. The hands, great separation skills. He was number 12 in yak per reception last season at the collegiate level among all tight ends, and number 6 in ADOT. If he winds up in that 550 to 600 yard range with like a handful of touchdowns, you're looking at a back end tight end 1 in 12 team leagues. Are you buying or selling that belief?
Oh, man. So right now I'm buying. The problem is, I mean, the tight end position last year, I mean, you know, like it's your guess is as good as mine. You have Cole Kmet, right? And now I'm just trying to think, like, how are they going to use all these weapons? Because you draft another wide receiver, obviously, here, but it's going to be a bunch of Caleb under center, bootleg stuff, 12 personnel, but you do still have Cole Kmet there. I'm all about Colston Loveland, right? If you're using a top 10 pick, he's getting probably 70 targets minimum this season, especially in the red zone. We've already talked about the separation, what we like about him, using him in the slot. I'm kind of buying in on him, but also like I have Dalton Kincaid fear a little bit, right? Like I thought this was going to be the breakout Dalton Kincaid season, and I was wrong. But I think Colston Loveland, if I had to do like a player comp, man, it'd be Tyler Eifert with a healthy neck. So I'm buying Colston Loveland. I think that there's a reason why Ben Johnson wanted him top 10.
Yeah, I think he's going to be under 600 yards, though, because of the addition of Luther Burden. I mean, Luther Burden is also a dirty
That's
work
the thing,
underneath.
yeah.
And, as good as Loveland is, especially across the middle of the field, I bared witness to it at Memorial Stadium when Illinois had those sick throwback jerseys in that game against Michigan. He was the only guy they couldn't contain in the game. Everybody else, they had no issue whatsoever. And remember how shoddy the quarterback play was in Ann Arbor this year, and Loveland was still delivering the goods. I mean, he had just exceptional separation over the middle of the field. Illinois just simply could not wrap him up. As Terrence Ferguson, I was wrong, tight end Oregon, goes to LA Rams. Shedeur Sanders still waiting for his name to be called. But I like Loveland quite a bit, but Luther Burden definitely kind of cannibalizes his fantasy volume and worth overall. I think ultimately he's going to be outside the tight end top 12 this season, but very close to that ranking in the end.